Let me guess.
Hey, you have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself. We can't
I
hear you.
just I just saw that. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Hey, you have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself. We can't hear
Oh,
you.
it's great. I get to hear the echo of it
Okay.
now. Oh my God, folks. Have you been screaming at me? Where's the button? Oh my God. This is the problem with live streams and working alone. There's nobody there to tell you you're and up. I did. Should we start? Folks, could you read my lips? Maybe Google will read my lips and put transcript down across the bottom. I think she's gone now. I'm on my own again. God darn it. The reason I put myself on mute is when I open up my other computer, I am listening to other things over there, and there's this bad squelch between the two. So I just deaden this one. And I remind myself to turn it back on. And I forgot. God dang it. You didn't hear nothing I said. Nothing. Well, hey, folks, everybody here. First impressions are hellacious if you really screw up, aren't they? Yeah, all my regulars are here, and I see we got a ton of new people. Oh, my God. Thanks for being here, folks. We are going to be looking at some stocks today. I am really off my kilter now. I was talking about quantum computing. We are going to be looking at QTBS, which is D-Wave, which was one of the first quantum computers to come onto the market a long time ago. And I was looking at quantum computers back then. Before I was even into stock trading, I was looking at quantum computers. And there is a lecture. Now, remember this. Go watch this for your own entertainment. Jordy Rose is the founder of D-Wave. I don't think he's with the company anymore. I think he stepped aside now. But he did lectures on the D-Wave quantum computer on stage to a very huge public. And I watched both of them. And he said some very, very interesting things. Now, hopefully I'll remember and I'll bring it back up when we get there, because quantum computing is going to be big, folks. I'm very interested in it right now. A while back when AI came into the picture, we were talking about which companies to look at. And basically, I was saying we really need to be looking at cloud for AI. When cloud came out for people, it exploded. Some place to put all our information. Well, AI has more data than we do. And it needs more space than we do, and it needs it faster than we needed it. So AI cloud had to grow at an extremely strong rate, and it still is, to keep up with AI. Well, I'm looking at a company right now. I don't think there's any other company like it. FCCN. They work with quantum computing cloud, which I'm thinking has got to be a first mover's advantage. And I'm going to be covering that stock next week. But we are going to look at some quantum computing information today, along with other stocks. And we did look at XTIA. You didn't hear much. Silent movie version. For the sake of time, because you've already watched 20 minutes of this show, I think we're just going to move on into the next stock. Man, I am sorry, Velmore. I apologize. Bottom line there was I didn't see any catalyst right now. The revenues are a little wonky. They're all over the place. They do have stockholder equity, but they had a lot of volume come in, and I don't know why. I can't figure it out, but the chart looks like it's ready to break out. It is right where it needs to be. If volume can come in, this thing could take off. Hope that suffices. My sincere apologies, folks. I should splice that part out. All right. God, everybody won their bet, didn't you? I got to pay everybody back. Doggone it. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Here I am worrying about if you can see me and you didn't have any volume. I am very creative when I have brain farts, aren't I? Yes, sir, I am. Thank God you didn't need it for that, right? I was telling you, I'm not licensed for anything, folks. So, don't take my advice for anything. Do your own due diligence behind me. Okay, so we're out of that one too now. My bad. All right, I'm going to cover this as quick as I can because actually I made a video on it yesterday, but I really like this company and I think you ought to consider this. I think it's great for a short hold because they've got some good, strong catalysts. This is a water company, ticker CDZI, KDIZ. They supply water to Southern California, and they found this water, believe it or not, in the middle of the desert, not on the surface, underground, an aquifer, way back 40 years ago. Well, since then, they've done a lot of things, and they're getting that water to Southern California, piping it underground. They are now buying up old petroleum pipe where we used to move gas and oils and stuff, and they're cleaning those pipes, and they're going to move water through that. And there are millions of miles of that, and they've just made a deal for 220 miles and 180 miles, plus they're getting involved in hydrogen. They made a deal with the company, ATEC, I believe it was, and this company treats the water. Well, they and this other company and this company are all coming together to build the largest solar farm hydrogen company down in Southern California that is going to produce 50,000 tons of hydrogen a day. And the great thing about this company is where they're going to build it is right next to the highway, the railroad, and pipelines. So it is a prime piece of property. It is great. I think this is good for the short hold as well as the long hold. Obviously, hydrogen is going to be the next energy. Water we always need. But for the short hold, we've got a special catalyst. If you come over here to the filings, it was right there, this Form 4 right there. This is an insider. An insider is anybody who has ownership or controls the company. Could be management, just could be someone who owns the most shares. This guy owns the most shares. This is Harima International. Now, Harima, before this deal, had 20 million shares of this company. Owns about 34, 38%, somewhere in there. Well, this form tells us whenever the insiders buy or sell shares. They can do a lot of things with the shares on this form. But if you see a P, somebody bought them. It's a purchase. If you see an S, they sold them. Well, this is a P for 2 million shares at $3.34 a piece. Now, I'm figuring that's close to $7 million. $7 million that this guy who already owns $20 million of the company has just thrown into the company right now. He just did that on the 5th of November. That to me is a telltale sign that something is coming. He wants more of this pie. He hasn't got a big enough piece. Even though he's the biggest investor, he bought $7 million more. And as I said, the primary things I had seen was the pipeline they had just bought, 180 miles of steel pipeline, and 220 miles from the El Paso natural gas. And as far as we know, they're the first company who is taking old petroleum pipes. Yes, you can clean that out, no problem, and turning them into useful water. They're already there. They're already laid out. We can get the water moving around. And Southern California is a perfect place to be building all of this stuff. The other one was the hydrogen company. Right here, it is going to be the largest hydrogen production facility in California. And I do believe they said in the world. It is going to be solar farmed. So this is going to be pretty bloody big. And as I said, it covers all of the benefits that they can't find in any other hydrogen park, next to a railroad, next to a highway, next to pipelines. And they did have financials come out, which I was not able to cover yesterday. When I made the video, these came out as I was making the video. I could have stopped and jumped into it, but I just gave them a picture. Basically, what we've got here, let me see. Yeah, total revenues. Total revenues for the last quarter was $3.2 million. Yep, they tell us here we got to add 3 zeros. Now compare that to what they did before. 368,000. Same period last year. So we are up 900% on revenues, which I barely caught yesterday to talk about. So what was the relative volume around the company today? Still under the radar. 312,000 shares on the major exchange. She finished today at $3.24 and was only up 30%. not doing a lot of shares up there. And today she did less, 283,000. And I like this company. I think she's got short-term catalysts, and I like her for a long hold. Outstanding share count is very decent, folks. 68 million. I don't know what the insiders own. Go ahead and subtract that. That'll give you your float. But anything under 100 million is a great outstanding share count and a great float. So we're in good shape here. Market cap for the company, we're at about $220 million. Financials for CDZI. They're climbing. We were at $541,000. We got 3 zeros there. We got to put behind any of the numbers on any of these charts. Jumped up to 1.5 million, up to almost 2 million. But what's going on with that profit margin? The more money they make, the more they lose. We got to fix that. Quarterly reports. All wonky. Money's everywhere, but profits are down. They're just not making any money. Obviously, this new hydrogen facility going in, which I do believe is being started to be built in 2025, and this new pipeline, obviously are supposed to be exciting. I hope they're going to be bringing in revenues. All I can say is when someone throws $7 million down all at once and they already own, well, I don't know, how much was 20 million shares worth? He's got a lot invested, absolutely. Balance sheet for the company, we got about 10 million in the bank. That's not bad. 118 million in assets. Liabilities is only 90. So we've got just under 30 million in stockholder equity. So they are bringing in revenues from somewhere. Got to work on that profit margin, and we've got stockholder equity. And I basically covered all the information. So let's take a look at ticker CDZI. Can you hear me? I don't know. Can you hear me? Oh, God. All right. So you can see me. You can hear me. Oh, that's not funny, is it? Wearing it out. All right. I'm going all the way back to the year. I said the year. Always like to get an idea of the overall trend and my 52-week high and low. Well, overall, I guess you would say we've been in an uptrend, but this is where the trend changed. Now, as a matter of fact, I remember looking at this yesterday, so I do want to bring this up. If you look here, if I get rid of that, we don't actually have to have it there. We fell under the 200, and months ago, about a half a year ago, we got up on top of the 200. This is the 2-year chart, and we've been sitting on top of the 200, bouncing around, but showing no signs of wanting to come down. And now she's jumping off of the 50. So from the 2-year chart, she was looking pretty good. When you do come down to the 1 year, she had a trend change, I guess you would say. She was underneath her 200, had a nice jump, a break, right where our 200 is turning. She went from $2.35 up to $3.30, almost $1, laid on top of our 200 and then started bouncing up on top of it. And as I said, even on our 1-year chart, she's now bouncing off of the 50, not the 200. So she's graduating. She's getting lighter and lighter. And our other 200 is on top of this one, swinging up as well. Take a look at our 4-hour chart. So she was going sideways, pretty much just minding her own business on the 200 here, and then took a dip, a crouch. She was, like I said, minding her own business and dropped probably for no reason that you could see, hit this low bubble. This is where she probably needed to bend her knees. She had to crouch like a cat does to jump higher up. So she came down lower and boom, off of the 289, she went up to that 382. Boy, she likes to take these dollar jumps virtually, doesn't she? Once she got up here, she bounced on the 20, just with a peg leg. That's all she needed to do. Another peg leg, that's holding her up. Couldn't keep her from crushing it, but then she came right back through, hitting a high of 384. From there, she just gave up the ghost. Now, when you see your 20-day MA start to roll over like a roller coaster, right here at the top, you can pretty much count on the price going to follow that. And when the price follows that, then all the rest of the MAs follow the price. So I like to look for the 20-day MA to start cusping over. That's normally a sign that I should be exiting if I'm in that play, if I'm not already out. She's come back down to the 200. Looks like she's doing another rubber ball, a crouch, coming down underneath the 200, hopefully going to come back up. Oscillators. They kind of show that. Let me zoom in on this MACD. Yes. So our PPO, percentage price oscillator, she's hit the floor and she's starting to come up. We need to get that over top of that red, but it's trying now. It's coming up, rolling from the other side. We just had a crossover on our MACD. It's under the signal line, but it's gotten on top of her line. Sad news here is our RSI is still falling and it's at 45. Mino likes anything under 55. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute downtrend. All 5 days. Come through that 200. Hit a low bubble here. She's beating her head on the 50. I can't tell what she's doing. Our oscillator says she's trying to recover. I see my PPO is trying to climb with my ADX already falling. Whenever I see a V shape between my PPO and my ADX, like that, I know the price is trying to climb. And once it separates and starts to go apart, guaranteed it's climbing. So I'm waiting for that blue line there to get up on top and start pushing up. MACD looks to be falling. RSI is falling. Yeah, so she doesn't look like she's ready to run. I can't say on the short term she's ready to break out, folks. But on a long term, I like this chart. I think in the due course, something's going to happen between this hydrogen and this water and this new investment. But personally, I do like this for a long hold. Back to, should I even try this? I get embarrassed when I come over here now. I got to look you guys square in the face. I need help. I need help. We know that. The doctor's been telling me that for years. So who stuck it out with me through all of that? I appreciate you, Monty. Oh, it's you diehards that put up with my beep. I do a lot of it. Charlie, I'm glad you're here, Charlie. Thank you very much. Velmore, you were the first one here and you're still here. LT hung around. I love you, LT. See how much I miss you? I really do need you. All righty, back to the drawing board. We've got another stock here at 439. This one is ticker GV. GV comes to me by way of Underdog, and I didn't get any notes written there. Okay, we'll play this by ear. This is GV Visionary Holdings, company out of Canada. Finished today at $1.40, down just a little over 9%. She is on the NASDAQ, which comes with benefits, right? All of our transactions are free up there, unlike the OTC, so you can scale in, buy your stock as she's climbing. Yes, people do that. It's making gains. If it's climbing, doesn't matter where you get in, it's taking gains. Or you can scale out, which is how I like to get out of trades that are running. I always sell as it's climbing. Before it turns red, sell as it's climbing. You're not losing money. That's the old way of thinking. Get over that. There's also a lot more volume and money on the major exchange. Compared to the OTC, Little League and Major League isn't even the difference here. And there's a lot more rules. And that's the big part here, folks. The OTC, we keep getting taken because they get away with a lot more down there. There's not a lot of oversight. And you get to trade the major exchange stocks pre-market, aftermarket. Never get to do that on the OTC. Even when you see them trading, it ain't me and you. It's the marketers and brokers, and they're normally not helping the price. So what is GV about? Well, they tell us here that Visionary Holdings provides private, online, and in-person educational programs and services to Canadian and international students that reside in Canada and internationally. So they're an online college. Maybe they even have something in real life. I'm not real sure. Let's see what I've learned here. Oh, we go straight to a filing. All right, this filing says that they got into a securities purchase agreement with an accredited investor. That means someone who's got a lot of money. It was for $6 million. At the closing, they received $1 million, and the rest of the money is supposed to come over the next 24 months on anniversary dates. If you want more details, that's all there for you. Now, when I came over here looking for news, they didn't give me any. Well, they gave me a little, but I mean, this was nothing to share with you. So I jumped over to my favorite news site here recently, Stock Titan. This is an AI news site. What's really neat about it is the AI reads the news and then writes up a little blurb. So you don't have to read the whole bloody news press. You can just read what's informative. And if you actually go into the news, they'll give you bullets right down here. That's not in the news either. So if you're one of those people that really absorbs information easily, if you come over here to Stock Titan and just find the news and it comes out as soon as it comes out, they even categorize it as merger news, AI news, FDA news. So you can look just at the news you want to look. And you can come down here and just get the bullets for the news. Well, this piece of news is for the company, and it came out. The original news press will be down at the bottom in case you really do want to read it. This came out September 12th. This is the most recent piece of news that I could find. The company has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia for an investment of up to $120 million. The partnership includes debt replacement for 4 of Visionary's commercial buildings and real estate redevelopment investment. PIF will also provide financial, talent, and resource support for Visionary's global expansion, industrial upgrades, and debt optimization. And that's really all there is. So let's get some information on the company's stock now. Wow, volume is way down, dropping from just over 1 million down to 237,000 shares. Share structure for the company, that's decent. Outstanding share count is less than 4 million. Insiders are going to own something. Subtract that from that. That's going to give you your float, what's on the market. Anything under 10 million is a low float. So we're at a super low float, somewhere less than 3.7 million. So when this thing does get volume, it could move fast. But don't get greedy. You've got to flip the coin. If this thing starts to fall, it could fall fast. It works in both directions. The rubber band stretches the same way. Market cap for the company, just under 6 million. Financials for GV. They making any money? Yeah, they are. And it is increasing. A little ebb and flow going here. Going from 7.7 million 4 years ago up to 9.3 million at the end of March of 2024, which is their fiscal year. I'm not liking that. 4 years ago, with only 7.5 million, they got 4.2 million profit. Now we've got 9.3 million and only get 2.5. What are we paying our employees more? Things cost more. The inflation hitting you. Wow, that's a lot of profit lost. Quarterly reports. Yeah, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. They probably have them. They're just not showing up here. We can live without them at this moment. Going into that balance sheet, not much in the bank, just a little over 500,000, 620,000. Total assets, just under 90 million. Total liabilities, just over 70 million. So we are holding positive stockholder equity. Thank God for that. We're not holding a bag. We got about $18 million in this company. And I do believe I've covered this, but I always like to look. 10.3, that's probably the one we just looked at. Material definitive agreement for $6 million. Sure is. So I didn't see anything exciting here. Nothing jumped out at me that says I want to go look at the chart. But since we're doing this, we're going to go look at the chart. Nothing personal. Underdog, is that who gave this to me? Nothing personal, Underdog. Not picking on your stock, buddy. All right, let's see. That's the short. That ain't looking too great. That's the short chart. Wowzy. Oh, I forgot to put my lines back in the last chart. Darn it, darn it, darn it. All right, we got lines here. All those lines, folks, those are my supports and resistances. I draw these lines. I have to come in sometimes on the hourly chart, the hourly, yearly chart. Sometimes you got to go way back to find them. But these are how I know where I'm getting in. I've been scalping here recently. I do day trades most of the time, get in and out in one day. I end up being a swing trader because trades don't go the way you want. But when you scalp, you don't end up being a swing trader because I plan my trade to get in just over top of a support and get out underneath the next one because this is where the price slows down. This is where it hits its head. That's why we draw them. So if I get in over top, chances are it's going to go to the next one with very little hesitation, like going from one traffic light to the next. Unless something jumps out in front of you, you just go from one to the next. Well, this is where I make my plays. And when you're buying 1,000 shares of any stock at any price, whether it be a $30 stock, $100 stock, or a dollar stock, 1,000 shares will make you $10 for every penny it moves. Well, that move right there goes from 656 up to 996. Wow, that's a big one. That's 40 cents. That's a $400 scalp. Now, these are smaller scalps down here. That's okay. This one would be from 420 to 437. Come on now, folks. That's a $150 scalp there. So, yeah, we like to play on these. So, looking at the chart, she's been in a downtrend, taking some big jumps as she goes down. And I'll bet if I really don't want to get rid of those lines. I worked for them, and I'm afraid I won't put them back up. I'm going to see if this line actually connects here. We're pretty close. High, high, high. Looks like she's falling down right now, doesn't it? And if we come a little bit closer, we are setting up for a breakout. It's not a perfect thing here. Everything went wrong. Our big bar went through, but this is a lot of motivation. She's broke through her 200. She's down to her 50. Our other 200 is underneath. This is setting up for a breakout. It's not a picture perfect breakout, but it is setting up. I do like that. Our oscillators, they're a bit weak. Right now, everything is kind of cusping down. The whole day looks like it's sort of been a down day. Take a look at our 20-day 1 hour. Well, she's actually flattened out, right? Look here. Our 200-day was falling. The price was underneath it, too far away to do anything. As the 200 got close, we start seeing some signs the stock wants to jump. It's showing. It's pushing through that 200, but it's not making a false jump yet. Not until our 200-day MA goes flat. Wow. Look there, folks. Now it's flat. When does it break out? Bink. Maybe there was news. Maybe there wasn't. A lot of charts break simply on technicals, folks. They don't need a catalyst. That in itself is a catalyst because most of us use the same setup, a 200, a 20, a 50, a 9, thereabouts. So we all see the same signal. When that light turns green, we all move. So this was looking green to us. Somebody jumped the gun and whoop, bunch of lemmings. We all went with it. So we jumped here from $1.22 up to $3.28. That was the whole day virtually, aftermarket, pre-market, and part of the next day. Lots of gains. And that's why I like to sell on the way up in pieces. You don't know how far it's going to go up. So if you were waiting to hit this high, chances are it wouldn't have made it and it'd have fallen and you lost it. You'd have been right here. Oh, no. But if you sell on each tier going up, you take those gains. You get back in here and take those gains or sell half here, then sell half here, sell another half there. And as she's climbing, you're taking those gains. That's how you don't lose your money, folks. Don't let it sit on the table. If you were playing poker and you just won a hand, would you not pull that money into you or would you let it sit out there for the next hand and just start playing? Never, right? You would never leave the pot there. After you win your hand, you pull it in. When you hit a target, take your gains, folks. I'm promising you, folks, this will change your trading 180%. When you start taking gains and putting them in your pocket, that's when the game changes because the money is yours before the game is even over. And you know what? When you plan your trades, it's easy and calm. No decisions. When do I get out? Should I sell now? No, when I get into these trades, I put in my buy order, I put in a sell order for gains and a sell order, a stop loss, all at the same time. It's called a bracket order, an OCO. You can put them all in at the same time you buy your stock. So as soon as you buy it, well, you ain't bought it. You've set the order up. You're waiting for the price to come to you. We wait for the price to come to us. I don't buy it down here. I wait for it to cross over one of these supports and set my trap. Now you're in my trap. I want her to be climbing when I buy it, not falling. You never buy anything on a red bar. And hopefully you're not selling on a red bar. If you are, you're selling a little late. So we're in a downtrend here, but she is trying to level off. She is trying to break out. We just haven't got the volume. That's what we need right now. Let's take a look at our half hour, flat as a pancake, our 15-minute, really not going anywhere. Look, There's our volume. Even if I come down here and zoom in really tight on this. No, there's no gas in the tank. Without volume, it's not going to go anywhere. But she is sticking. She's not falling. She's holding solid. And as long as she holds solid, when volume comes in, there's a very strong chance that she's itching to move. She just needs some help to do it. Let me peekaboo back on in here. Yeah, you guys can start another pool if you want. I'm not even worried about it anymore. I've done, yes, oh God. What is that? 5 out of 6 I've messed up. Never, I don't even know what you guys are saying here. I'm just looking at names to see if any new people came in. Like Paul Texarea. What is quantum computing? Well, you know what? That's a good question and a great segue. Thank you, Paul. Our next stock, I do believe, covers, yes, it does, quantum computing. This is QBTS D-Wave, quantum computing. D-Wave was one of the first, if not the first, quantum computing company on the market. As I said, I was aware of quantum computing over 10 years ago when it first came out. They came out with the D-Wave, which was put into NASA. It was put into college. I can't remember which. And you're allowed to use them. You can plug into them and use them if you have any idea what you're doing. Now, quantum computers are very unique, and we are going to be using them because they can solve problems. AI comes up with solutions, but it doesn't think outside of the box. We give it the data and it works in that box. Quantum computing gets out of the box with the data we give it. Our computers are bits. You know, they work on bits, and then we get the megabytes and gigabytes, and it doubled, right? We had our USBs go from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. Well, quantum computers use qubits, and they do the same thing. They also double, bigger and bigger and bigger. Our computer's bits are 0 and a 1, a yes and a no, off, on, up, down, left, right. It's just that back and forth. That's simple. Quantum computing has 4 positions instead of 2. They have the off on like regular computers do, but then they have what they call superpositioning as well as entanglement. And both of these are mind-boggling. And I'm only going to give you the simplest examples I can because that's pretty much all I can do. It is quantum physics, for God's sake. When you have what was the first one? Superpositioning. Superpositioning is when you have the yes and the no at the same time. We can't think like that. It either is or it isn't, not at the same time. That's thinking out of the box. Somehow the quantum computer can take information, particles, data that is conflicting in the same area and make useful information out of it. Can't explain it. But superpositioning is very, very interesting, and they are still studying it. There's a lot of potential there. The other one is quantum entanglement, which is even harder to explain. The easiest thing I can say is think of 6 flashlights all pointing into one area, and all that light converges in one spot. There is no way to tell one photon from this flashlight from a photon from that flashlight when they get in there. They're all together now. They're entangled. Well, when things get entangled, they start to respond to each other. And entanglement connects 2 particles together so that when you affect one, the other one is affected the same way, regardless of the distance between them. It could be an inch, it could be a mile, it could be Earth, it could be the moon. And this is what they're working on. Now, they believe they can work this with communication. Again, folks, it's really, really deep. The last thing I want to tell you about quantum computing that I don't understand, as I said, Jordy Rosie did a lecture 10 years ago about, and they are on YouTube. Just put in D-Wave lecture Rosie, and you'll find them. And he explains to you some of the attributes and characteristics of quantum computing, just to give you a layman's idea. That's who he's talking to, layman. But then he touches on to something that will blow your freaking mind. And it scares me. And this is the founder of D-Wave explaining it to us. At this point, he said that they had 500 qubits per chip. The chip is as big as your thumb, and it puts off so much heat, they have to put it into a box the size of a small room and chill that room down to virtually 0 degrees, and it beats like a heartbeat. And this thing puts off a lot of energy. Well, he said for each qubit, they are able, you can listen to it yourself, I'm not blowing this out of proportion, each qubit has the potential to reach into another dimension. And that we are able to reach into these dimensions and exploit them, that was his word, exploit them for technical advancements. He says we're not talking information, we're talking the technology. Now, first thing that popped into my mind is if you are exploiting another dimension, which in itself is mind-boggling, another dimension, what are you talking about? But you're exploiting another dimension that has technology, that means there's smart people there or smart something. You're going to probably piss them off. Nobody wants to be exploited. 2, can you close the door? I mean, do you know every dimension you're opening up has good things in it? Could something pass through here? I know this is all sci-fi, but I'm not making this stuff up. He is telling you that these dimensions exist, and you would not know the difference between them except for one little itty bitty difference between this one and that one. And it's like, wow, too much information. I didn't need to know that. And quantum computing is now being used to think out a lot of problems. Quantum computing is going to be used as the guard against AI hacking. AI could break all of our cryptologies. We need something stronger than AI. Cryptology is the bigger giant. AI is big. Cryptology is going to be bigger. You know what I mean? Quantum computing, not cryptology. Quantum computing. Because cryptology is being broken. And quantum computing is coming up with passwords that never stay the same. They're constantly moving. So that's a whole new dynamic to security. So D-Wave Quantum finished here at $1.87, up 5% on the New York Stock Exchange, coming with all those benefits just like you get on the NASDAQ. This company is out of California. What did we learn here that I could share with you? Well, we've got some news here. At the end of October, the company was deemed awardable vendor for the U.S. Department of Defense. I'm going to get a little more information about that. D-Wave regains compliance. Are we over $1? Yes, they were under $1. They regained compliance back over $1. The company achieved significant milestone with calibration of 4,400 qubit Advantage 2 processor. Sounds like it's getting bigger, better, and faster. It's good, right? And the last one, the company to showcase annealing quantum computing real-world impact at University of Southern California. And that's what everybody wants to know. How can this help the real world? I mean, you're talking a lot of far-fetched stuff here. Show us some practical applications. Well, when I was going through the financial, they were telling us that they were up this last quarter 41% year over year. That's good. Fiscal year to date, we're up 11%. And their gross profit up 54% year over year. So they're actually making more money, which is a good thing. But in this, they give us a lot of information, technical highlights, financial highlights, and I didn't go through all of it, but as you can see, there's a ton of information here, and they break it out brilliantly. So come on over here if you want to get it. But I wanted to just first line here, I don't even want to read anymore, just to show you how much they're involved with, because people are realizing the potential that is coming with quantum computing. The company announced that Japan's largest mobile phone operator is planning production deployment of the hybrid quantum application. They announced a new collaboration with the Japan Tobacco Company to build a proof of concept that leverages quantum computing as well as artificial intelligence. D-Wave has been deemed the awardable on the U.S. Department of Defense TradeWinds buying platform. We just talked about that improvement they made with the 4.4 thousand qubit advantage. The company introduced service level agreements specifically tailored for Leap Quantum Cloud Service customers. The company announced a strategic partnership with Stack, whatever that is, And the company announced that D-Wave is joining the Chicago Quantum Exchange as a corporate partner. It sounds like there's some real big pieces of news here. Definitely want to take some time and come back here and read through this. And there's a lot more where that came from. So let's get some information on D-Wave's stock now. What was her relative volume? She was up about 5 times, 500%, going from 6.5 million shares a day over the last 30 days to 35 million roughly today. Share structure for the company, average. We got 157 million. Don't know what the insiders own. If they own a whole bunch, we could have a really decent float. Otherwise, it's just going to be your everyday average float, but it won't be over 157 million. Market cap for the company, we're at 280 million. Financials, what are they making? All right. Over the last 4 years, they've been increasing in revenues every single year, not catapulting or anything. And their profits growing a little bit. It looks like the revenues are outpacing their profits. So we need to tweak that a little bit. Quarterly reports. The last quarter, she dropped. She was doing over 2 million every quarter. This quarter, she did 1.8. And yes, the profits dropped with it. Still over 1 million every quarter, but we like to see that grow. Balance sheet. They got 29 million in the bank. You got about 50 million in total assets. 66 million in liabilities. You'd think this quantum computer could come up with a way to balance their books better. You might as well use it for your own benefit. Stockholder equity, we're holding about 17 million in stockholder deficit for this company. Ow. Disclosures. There's that most recent quarterly report that just came out today, right? So you want to dive into this. They do set it up nice and easy. You don't have to just read numbers, folks. Come on down to the bottom and they start giving you lots and lots of information. It's all headlined. You get paragraphs. And if you use your search bar, it's a heck of a lot easier. And I think this was the one we just read. So looks like she's getting some attention today. She is taking some gains. I have not looked at, no, I think I did look at this chart today. Over at Penny Boys, we looked at quite a few charts today. Yeah, look at, you can tell when we're playing a stock because I have supports and resistance all over this. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hope that I remember to bring these back. Doink. All right, that's the 15-minute chart. We'll come back to you because I see a double bottom there we want to talk about. 1 year chart. So a year ago, in January, almost a year ago, we were at 68 cents for a 52-week low. We had a 52-week high of $2.44 at the beginning of March. That was the breakout over the 200 here. You see our 200 haul turned blue. She's racing. Once it turned blue, she pushed to that 200, got her high, and then came all the way back down to our 200 here. She tried to hang on to that, but just lost it. But then look at all of these MAs coming down on her head like a waterfall, pressing down on you. It's hard to hang on. She tried, lost it, fell down. Right here, it was the best she could do was just to go sideways and allow everything to come underneath her now. Once it comes up underneath her, she can start to get some push from all of that water, that current that comes up underneath her. She jumped off the 50, hit her head on the 200, showing us some initiative. She doesn't want to fall anymore. Bounced off of the 50, and she's launched herself. Chart is looking sweet on the yearly. All of our MAs are crossed up and climbing, getting ready to cross the 200. Lots of volume. Look at it over the long haul. The volume has been picking up over the last month, and right now, the last few days, it's gotten real strong, and every single oscillator on the yearly chart is just going to the moon. Take a look at our 6-month 4-hour view. High 6 months ago of 244, a low of 75 cents. 200 is falling. Right here, she's gone flat. She was hanging on to it, not wanting to move. When it went flat, what happened? Boink, she jumped, made that jump up, down. When you break out, the initial first jump is not normally the run. That's excitement. You are going to get some heat and climb, but she's going to come back down to earth, refuel down here, jump up and down on that support, make sure it's strong, and then you get your push off. So there's nothing wrong with playing the breakout. Just sell up there. Don't wait for it to turn red. Sell while it's growing. Every bounce. Sell while she's climbing. And off of this again, when she took off, she was running all of our MAs. Looking beautiful. Everything is nice and smooth here. As long as she dips. You see these dips here, folks? This is great. This is great. You want to see the bar stay above your MA, but the wick go through multiple MAs. It went through the 9 and the 20. This tells me she's putting down a foundation. If she gets too high, she could tip over like a tall building with a shallow foundation. But you get it deep in the ground, you can go higher. So when I see these wicks go through multiple MAs, I'm confident that she is settling in for more growth. And here come our other MAs. They're catching up. So she's biding time, going sideways, putting down her pillars. I think she's going to climb. Our oscillators, they're cooled off. Sideways isn't exactly heat, but our PPO is going sideways. Our MACD isn't exactly falling, but it's trying. It's testing our line right now. And our RSI is at 63, holding steady right now. Take a look quick at our hour. Well, that looks good, right? She's going sideways, dipped down to the low bubble, bounced up to get through the 200, and has been climbing. Bounced off our 50 here, fell down to the 50 with these big long wicks, telling me I'm ready to climb. As long as the big bars don't go through all those MAs and only the wicks, I see them as pillars. We got 3 pillars there, so what do I expect? A climb. It doesn't mean it's going to go forever. It just means she's not falling. I expect her to bounce back. She's come back now to the 20. Price is getting lighter. It only needs a 20-day MA to hold it up instead of a big old 50. So things are looking good, except we have a double top there. You see it? Looks like a big M. M for murder. When you see an M, 1 top, 2 top at the bottom of this floor where the M started and where it's going to end, you normally see a drop. Now, normally the drop is the depth of the M. So, it could come down under that 50 before it decides to come up, if it comes up. We really don't know here. Now, good to know, if you see a W, it's the same thing. W for winner. That means it's going to be climbing. Again, it'll probably go as deep as the W, but there's nothing to stop it from keeping on going when people get excited. Taking a look at our 5-day, 15-minute, we're on an uptrend from $1.05 up to $2.15 from corner to corner. You got to love that. Oh, what do we got? Look at this. We got a W right there. Down, there's one floor, up, down, there's the other floor, up. Right there is where she would have stopped. Boink, you got your bounce off of the tail of the W. How convenient was that? We had an M on one board and a W on the other. So we just played the W out, but the M for murder is still playing out right now. So I am not assured that this isn't going to come down to the 200 again. And if it bounced off the 200, we're doing good. It is on an uptrend right now. Our oscillators are pretty weak, but they're coming to the bottom of the cusp. Not exactly flat yet, but they're getting there. So all we can really do is watch this right now, folks. But quantum computing is hot. Did I get this chance to say this? I am going to be covering a quantum computing company. I can't remember if I said it when you couldn't hear me or I said it when you could. FCCN. I think they're going to be big because of cloud computing for quantum computing. We've got it for us, for people. It was big. We're doing it for AI. It's getting bigger than normal cloud computing. And now we need it for quantum computing. And I think the company I found has got a first mover advantage. So we're going to be covering that next week. So there's a little bit about quantum computing. But, if you were really looking for some inside information, it's quantum mechanics, folks. Do you know anybody that knows quantum mechanics? Well, go ahead and ask them. And then you're going to be sorry you did, because it is really, really over our heads, folks. I don't know. Aliens must have taught the humans that know this stuff. I just don't get it. Chris McGinnis. Hello, Chris. Yeah, I've heard about computer too. I'm just not sure what it is, what stocks to invest in it. Oh, well, we're never quite sure what stocks we're invested in either. That's why we like to share stocks as a community. We like to find hot stocks. Over at Penny Boys every day, I trade with the public. Here's a link down below. It says this is the link to Penny Boys. Come on in. If you haven't got a Discord account, just sign up. Give them your email. Choose a username and a password, and you're in there. Come on in. We have a free members page. You'll see it on the left-hand side. I'm in there trading with everybody. We're setting up charts, as I've been talking about, with supports and resistances. And we, as a community, find hot charts. Everybody's looking in different ways, bringing us charts. We set the charts up. We call the plays out as best we can, and we play them. And we take gains every single day. Now, if you're a swinger, we have swinging, we have options, we have all sorts of stuff. But on the free member page, we're scalping. But you can ask any questions, and our team members can come in there and answer, and maybe we can find you the help that you need. Let's see now. I think I have one more set up. I never want to forget. I'm so gun shy now, folks. You scared me. I'm gun shy. So we have one more stock. This one came from, I do believe I took notes on this one at least. Not that one. Try again. That's from my Penny Boys days. Got lots of notes here. You can go away. Bye-bye. Brian. All I know is Brian brought me my steak. Thank you very much. This is steak, STTK, Shattuck Labs. They're at $1.37. Finished today at 12.3% gains, which is a 15-cent jump. This is a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. So what does this company do? They're a biotech. Shattuck is developing a potentially first-in-class antibody for the treatment of inflammatory bowel disease, IBD. I know lots and lots of people have got IBD. It turns out that it's like one of those catch-alls. You go into your doctors and you say your side is hurting. Most of the time, oh, it's IBD, irritable bowel syndrome. How do I get rid of it? Well, maybe stop drinking coffee or drinking alcohol. Could be seeds. Stop eating pork. They have no idea. And other inflammatory autoimmune diseases. Shattuck's expert and state-of-the-art protein engineering builds on our deep understanding of the tumor necrosis factor family of receptors and their unique underlying biology. Yeah, I know. I'm the one that's got to read it. You only got to listen to it. So they're doing something deep here with autoimmune, antibodies for inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, as well as other inflammatory autoimmune diseases. So that's a good thing. I don't know what they've got in the pipeline, though. See what we've got for news. I did not find any news over there at OTC Markets, so I came over here to their website where they nicely put up the news. So we've got news all the way back here in July when the company was added to the Russell 2000 and the Russell 3000. Now, these are markets like the SPY or something. They're ETFs, not even ETFs. They are. They get added to markets that other big investors are looking at. If you can get there, you're getting more attention, so chances are you're going to get more investors. Then in August, the company reported their second quarter report, and then here in November, today, they just reported their third quarter reports. And in between the two quarterly reports, we got one piece of news. The company provides an update and announces the SL325, a first-in-class death receptor 3 antagonist, targeting the signaling pathway. Like I said, you only got to listen to it. So I'm presuming that's good news. With the word death and antagonist, doesn't sound good to me, but I'm getting the impression it's supposed to be good news. You'll probably want to dive into that because I'm not going to. You get your information there. Last thing, they did just file their financials. And I don't think these financials caught up with OTC since they just came out today. So I dove over here into them. We are looking at their current assets for September of this year compared to the end of December. So you're looking back 9 months. At the end of September, we were at 111. Yes, we had 3 zeros, $111 million. That is down from $159 million. Liabilities, We're at 15 million. They're just up a squeak, which means we are up 96 million in stockholder equity in this company. That's a good thing. What's their revenues? And they tell us here the revenues were about $3 million. Yep, 3 million. Got to look for that. Add the 3 zeros thing there. Compared to last year in 2023, looks like we're doing about 500% increase, 4 to 5 times the revenues last year, jumping from about 700 to 3 million, 700,000 to 3 million. And the same thing here. We went from roughly $1 million last year to 5.7 million on the 9-month realm. So her revenues are growing. Absolutely. Looking good. I don't think we had any other news, so let's dive into what the stock is doing. We got just about that much more volume here, jumping from 654,000 to 678,000 on the NASDAQ. You know that's under the radar. This is where you get millions of shares. Share structure, not bad. Outstanding share counts at 47, 48 million. Take off whatever the insider zone, that's going to give you your float. It's going to be a pretty decent float. Anything under 100 million is a decent float, and it can't be over the outstanding share count. So we got that covered. Market cap, we're at about 58 million there. Financials, that's a pretty decent market cap, 58 million for a penny stock. Financials, oh, God, what a drop. Wow, what a bounce. Look, 4 years ago, we were about 10 million, jumped up to 30 million, fell all the way down to under a million, and then put $1 million onto that. They're everywhere, but where is the cost for this revenue? How are they making their money? Is it a digital product? Are they giving consultancy? Are they getting royalties for a product I'm unaware of? Could be. Any one of those things can bring you in revenues without having to pay for it. Looking at the quarterly, well, that's looking better. 2 to 600,000 to 700 to 1.1 million to 1.6. Woo! Now we're doing the right thing. Over the last year, the revenues have been growing quarter after quarter, along with the profits. Yes. Take a look at the balance sheet. Wow. They got a lot of money in the bank, about $61 million. Assets, about 128 million. Oh, yes. Liabilities is only like 18 million. So we've got strong stockholder equity in this penny stock of 110 million. They're making stronger revenues. They've been growing over the year, and their profits are growing as well. Fundamentals don't look too bad with this company. Take a look at the disclosures for stake. I'm sure I already poked it. And there's that financial. Did we do this already? This seems like deja vu to me. 8K. This is a material change. 8Ks always come out with the financial. I should have realized that. Then we've got some SC13Gs. I'm not sure if this is a silent partner or the one that wants a voice in it, but what this is a new investor coming into the company. Somebody that buys enough shares that they become partner. They're now an insider. May not be management, but they own enough shares to be partner. We had 2 of them here. Each one of them was for 5.5% of the company. Not huge, but they bought enough shares to be part of the company now. So that's everything going on with stake, except for the chart. So let's go take a look at the chart before my voice gives out. Well, that looks bad and good. Let's jump all the way back here to a year. Okay, a year ago, where's our low? There's our low. Okay, I thought this might be our low. We were underneath the 200 here. That was at $2.13 back in December. Took a nice rip, went sideways for a long time. And I don't know what she was sitting on. There's no MAs up there. She crusted, got up here to 1176. Look at that, folks. Look where she stopped turning blue. She turned purple. I always tell you, when she turns blue, she likes to run. Well, this shows you when she turns purple, the haul, she likes to fall. Yeah, purple haul is a big fall. Woo! She slid all the way down here. grabbed her ankles right here at about $3.13, slid through the 200 without any problem, took a drop underneath it again, slid through it. This is becoming a bad habit. Here comes that 50 again. She's probably going to do this again, skim her head around on it. I'm not quite sure what she's doing. It's not making a whole lot of sense. Let's come on down to our 6-month 4-hour view. There's that sideways activity and that high bubble. And then there's that 200 breaking purple here too. Bam! Falling down, crossing over, laying right on our 200 haul. I'll bet most of you don't even have the 200 haul, do you? You're looking at your charts and this is just hanging in the air. You're going, what's holding this up? You know, when I see something and say, what's holding this up? There's a tool I'm not using. There's something there. Maybe it's VWAP or something, and I don't use it, and it's there. Well, you're not using it. You say, oh, this thing looks dangerous, like it's just going to fall. No, it's very secure. Here she broke down under it again, hit a low bubble, and we are setting up for a breakout, but we really need some volume, and the volume has been tapering off, getting less and less and less. Now, it looks like she's kind of climbing right now. Looks like I see a little bit of heat in our oscillators, little bit of push up in our price, which is where it starts. You got to catch these things early. We've got our price between 200s. That's our 200 sandwich. These are the strongest MAs on the board. The top one is coming down. My bottom one is blue, so it's coming up. It's putting the squeeze on that price. And being both 200s, that's a lot of squeeze. And normally, with this one pushing up, it normally wins out and pushes the price right through the 200. So I'd be watching for a breakout right now. This could actually bring in the volume. Let's come on down to our 1 hour. No, that's the 20-minute. No, I want the 1 hour. 1 hour. Trend change right there. She is falling. She starts to level out. She should have broke out right there. This tells me the stock is weak. You had an opportunity to break out. She got close. We didn't have any breakthroughs, no excitement showing, no enthusiasm. Here, she barely can get her head, just a forehead over top, and she comes right back down. Now, this time she's gotten over. Maybe she intends to stay up. Who really knows? We know the first time you go through the 200 is a burst of energy. You take your gains, wait for it to fall back down, see if she'll bounce on that 200. We've got some MAs coming underneath, but look, our 20 is going flat. When you see a flat 20, it's normally the roller coaster going over. And here comes our price right behind it. Here comes our 9-day falling. And our 50 is about flat. So I would actually be looking for this to dip a little bit more. It doesn't look like it's real eager to climb. The only thing that shows any excitement here is my RSI. I got this big bowl going down here, which is very, very interesting. We got a divergence here, folks. Yeah, this bow here and this bow here. You see how this is kind of capping up and this is capping down. It looks like this cap is doing that when really they should be doing the same thing. I may be reading this wrong, but they should all be doing this. You can see they're all rolling over, rolling over. This one is not. This is a divergence. A divergence means you've got a reversal coming. A reversal, if they're coming together, the two are working together, it's going to open up and allow a lot more volume to come in, normally get a climb. If you have things spreading apart in a divergence, it normally closes up and things get tight and things slow down and you get a fall. So looking at the chart overall, it says it's going to dip, but the divergence says we got a reversal coming that should cause a complete change. Who knows? What does our 5-day, 15-minute look like? Well, look where she's sitting, right on top of that 200. She has been hanging around the 200. She fully respects it. She got up high. She went down low, balanced it off. Just a total balance right there. Got back up on top, took a run. She's pulled the 200 up. It's not meandering around. It's come up to a higher level, and now she is falling, but all of our MAs are on top of her head. The waterfall is coming down. She's got to hang on for dear life not to let that water push her off. So she's probably going to go sideways as all of this occurs. Best I can tell you there, folks. What time do we have considering I had 20 minutes of silence? Coming back. I got to find the right buttons. Oh, Taylor, I miss you so bad. No, that's the wrong one. It's getting to that point. Pipeline, LOL, you're awesome. I'm looking forward to joining next week. Thank you, Mr. Tony C. I'm awesome. I'm human. I make mistakes. AI would not have let you put up with 20 minutes of silence, folks. How can I cut that out? You know, people come to watch this. They're going to start playing and go, this is effed up. And they're just going to leave. I'm going to have to go in the description. Volume starts at such and such a point. You can laugh at me if you want, but this is where the volume starts. So I see you guys have been having one heck of a conversation over here, and I have not learned how to do my job and keep up with you. John, no volume. I hear you loud and clear. I hear you now. Oh, Mr. Wizard, my Nikki's letting me know. You guys, I don't see any cursing though. You guys are so kind and considerate. No cursing. Unmute yourself. Don't they need a panic button, folks? Wouldn't that be something that they should install over here at StreamYard or at YouTube or somebody so that I know somebody would make use of it, you know, but I could always say, is that a real one? And you guys could say yes or no. Shoot. Maybe if I read this more often, I'd know. C'est la vie. Look at all this time you guys were silenced. This is horrible. This is embarrassing, folks. I'm in front of you feeling like an idiot. I miss you guys. Yeah, we miss you too. We really do, LT. Quantum computing, Paul. All right. I'm glad you guys kept yourself entertained. I don't think I'm going to do any more, folks. I really wore my voice out. I did 20 minutes more than you're aware of, even though you didn't hear it. Trust me, I was talking. But hopefully I've given you something to think about. There is a lot to be considering with quantum computing. I think you're going to be really interested in FCCN because I haven't found another company that's working with quantum computing cloud. And this is always making money. You got to have a place to put that data. It's got to go somewhere. And because they come up with so much data, these clouds have to be big and they have to be built fast. They've got to be put together before these quantums and these AIs come up with all their data. So I'm thinking that's going to be a good one. But quantum computing is going to be difficult to invest in because we don't understand the practical applications. Going into other dimensions is not exactly a practical application. Yeah, we're pulling out technology. I think he actually said in one of the videos, have you noticed our technology getting smarter? That's what we've been after, is smart technology. And it's like, uh-oh. So go check out Jordy Rosie's lectures on quantum computing. That'll blow your mind. And join me over at Penny Boys, where I don't have to worry about volume. I'm typing all day long, throwing up pictures, throwing up information, not throwing up, putting up information, finding hot charts, and we're taking trades all day, folks. You got questions about anything in trading and you don't know where to go to ask? Come on in. That is really why we set the free member page up. We do the free trading to show you we know what we're doing. And if you can get a nice feel for us, maybe we can help you. Maybe we can help teach you what you want to learn. I know we're always looking for some place to go. You know me. I know you. I'm inviting you in. You can trust me. I will see you next week, folks, right here, Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Volume on. Picture on. John Zidar on. See you, folks. God almighty. Ay, ay, ay.